Welcome back to In Conversation With. It's the video series where I get under the skin of running your own business and I chit chat with lovely small business owners to sort of like get their viewpoint on things really. But before I dive in and chat to my guest for this particular episode, I'm just going to get the housekeeping bit out of the way first. So, wherever it is that you are watching this, if it's on YouTube or any of my other social media channels, please do like, share, and also comment in terms of what we're talking about. I absolutely love it when you guys leave your comments. I love reading them and responding back to you, and yeah, it's just so lovely. Let's spread the love. But for now, let's dive straight in with my lovely guest for this particular episode. I am with the wonderful Lou Crooks, not Lou Darling as she's known on social media on some channels, but that's a whole other story.
That's another story for another show.
Exactly. But Lou is a fabulous copywriter and content designer, extraordinaire.
Oh,
well, it's true.
Thank you.
It is honestly true. But are you feeling comfortable?
Yeah, I am a bit nervous.
When someone shoves a camera in your face, it can be a little bit daunting.
Yeah. But I think we'll have a good session.
We're going to have a really good session.
Chit chat. But I'm feeling good, and
Excellent.
it's great to be asked. So thank you.
Oh no,
I enjoy watching these. I do watch them, and
thank you.
Myself, so it's nice to be.
It's great. We've been again, like a number of my guests actually. We've been waiting for the right timing to film this, haven't we? But just before we dive in, we're not actually in either of our homes today, are we?
No, we're not.
We're in a secret location. So this is usually where Lou and I will come to plan and plot some of our collaboration projects because we've worked together a couple of times now. We've probably spent more time talking to each other in the last, I'd say 4 weeks or so than we have done throughout our friendship. Tell the viewers why it is that we have spent that much time chatting to each other.
So, me and Ruby have been working together on Ruby's new website.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if
have I mentioned it?
Have you looked at that yet? But no, it was a real privilege for you to ask me actually, because we have got to know each other and we've worked together previously.
It's been an absolute pleasure working with Lou. Lou's got the patience of a saint. And I like to say the devil of the detail, or in the detail. But anyway, either way, she pays a lot of attention and kind of like gets me. I wanted to ask you, first of all, would you consider yourself more of a content web designer or a copywriter? Because I introduced you as both.
I would see myself as a content person, if you like. And content can be something that you write. So it could be, a blog post or something like that. But I think content is just something that exists that tells people who you are, and that might be a website. Yeah. So I think I would describe myself as a content person. So yes, I write things and I design websites, but for me, the two, they're all part of content. So
You explained what a content person is, but what's a copywriter?
So I'm someone who will get to know you and your business and your customers, find out what it is you want to tell your customers. And help you write something that is going to engage with that audience and help them decide that you've got the solution that they're looking for.
You talked about previously about copywriting being the art of simplicity around it. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, it's about keeping things simple. And if you can explain something to somebody using simple language, that person's going to understand exactly what it is you're saying. And I think there's a bit of a misconception, I think, around simplicity. And some people think that, well, if I use simple language, that means, I'm coming across and I've got to use big, fancy technical words, and that's not the case at all. And there's a content designer, Sarah Richards, and she wrote this book about content design, but in there's a big underlying message, which is, keeping your language simple. It's not dumbing down, it's opening up. And I love that. You have 3 seconds for somebody to look at what you've got to offer and make a decision. And in that time, they're sort of either reading a Facebook post or looking at your website, and they've got 3 seconds to resonate with that person. And if they're sort of stumbling over your language, because to you that's what you want to say, and it doesn't mean anything to them, they're just going to go somewhere else. Make it easy for people to say yes, because no one's going to complain to you that you've made something too easy. You're never going to get that complaint.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that.
No one's ever going to say that was so easy to understand.
How dare you?
Yeah.
I wanted it more complicated.
The language, it was just too simple. You're just not going to get that. But people have this thing in their heads, and I think small businesses tend to do that more.
Yeah.
Because we think, well, we want to be seen as this professional entity, obviously, but being professional and using simple language, they do go together. And I think that's the other thing that we do as small business owners is sometimes we forget or we lose sight of, well, who are we trying to appeal to here?
Yeah.
Because we can't appeal to everybody.
Yeah.
That just won't work. So we've got to really be mindful of who is this message appealing to, and by message that can be a Facebook post or an advert. Doesn't, not just talking about websites, but generally, I've got something to say or I've got something to sell. Who am I selling to? And I think the biggest bit of advice I can give to any small business owner is when you're writing something, think of it as though you're having a one-to-one conversation with that person, that key customer. And then, write something. And the hardest thing is writing full stop. It's really hard to actually write something, so just go for it. Yeah. Don't think, this sentence structure isn't quite right. Just get it all down and come back to it. But the biggest tip I can give is once you've written that piece, is read it out loud.
That's such a good point. Before you go into detail on that, I just want to come back to the point you just made about focusing on that one person and talking to them. So that's a tip that I've put in my how to create videos on social media, and that's the first thing I've said. There is one person that I have in my mind. I won't say who it is because she usually watches these videos and I don't want to embarrass her. Yeah, I have her in my mind, and I try to think of her and the maybe the issues or the problems or the challenges that she's facing running her small business or considering social media, and then address her.
Yeah,
because what about in terms of like that addressing the language that you use between you, us, them, we? Talk to me about that, because I know you mentioned that before. Yeah,
it's a tricky one, isn't it? People think, what do I use? Do I write in the third person? Do I not? And my view on that is, people buy from people. Customers want to see us for who we are. They could go and choose to buy from a bigger brand somewhere else. But the beauty of a small business owner is that you're buying from that person. So people want to get to know you. And, if you use more you and them words, it's much easier for people to read that and think, they're talking to me. And always try and have that one customer in mind. Yeah. And when you read things out loud, it makes such a difference. And what you'll find is, when you're reading something out loud, if you start to sort of stumble as you're reading and think, that doesn't quite flow, or that doesn't sound like me, then you need to write it again, because it's not right.
I talk about planning your social media ahead of time, scheduling content in, and those 2 points together go hand in hand. Because if you've got the time to think about the idea and actually craft it, then you've also got the time built in order to review that, read it out loud and make all the necessary edits before it then goes live.
And I think the other thing that's really important is to listen to your customers. So obviously the more that you're doing business with people, you're going to get hopefully some lovely testimonials, and you're going to ask people, what did you think of this, and can you give me some feedback, and read the comments that people leave for you, or the emails that they send, because more often than not what you'll find is that they're telling you things, that they're telling you that you've helped them with something that you may not have realised you did. And then you can use that, and then you can use that in your marketing as well, and think, okay, so if I'm solving that problem for someone else, the chances are that person isn't the only person who feels that way. So maybe I need to change the way that I'm pitching that service.
I wanted to talk to you about Coover Lab. So that's your company.
Yes.
But it's not just your company. You do that. You're in business with your life partner and business partner, John.
Yes.
But firstly, explain, where does the name Coover Lab come from?
So the word Coover is Finnish for image.
Right.
And you know, so John is a graphic designer and I'm a copywriter, and it's all about image, isn't it?
Yeah.
Projecting an image or a brand. So, and we love sort of all things, you know, Scandi. So we just wanted something that was a little bit different.
You've actually came into Coover Lab from a slightly different background.
Well, my career background was I worked in human resources function.
Yeah.
For a bank, and I was there sort of 9 or 10 years, and in that time I sort of managed teams of people, recruiters and data analysts, and sort of worked in project management. But the one thing that was sort of quite apparent to me was that throughout everything that every team I worked in, I was always really passionate about how we communicated with our staff, with our customers, with our teams. So if ever there was a project, I would sort of be the voice of, you know, the staff, if you like. So I would always be asking those questions. Okay, so this is what we want to do. How are we going to tell our people that? How are we going to get that message across in a way that they'll understand? So I was always sort of asked to write communications that would go out.
Right.
And then I took voluntary redundancy.
Yeah.
Because it came up and I thought, okay, go for it.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky because John, you know, my partner, has been so supportive.
Yeah.
Through everything I've ever done. He believed in me. He sort of said, you know, I think you should follow your dream, do what you want to do.
What is it like living and working with your partner? Because, you know, tell me some of the good, the upsides and some of the not so awesome aspects as well.
For any small businesses, you know, we don't get a salary that's just paid every month. We have to go out and earn that money.
Yeah.
So there's always a pressure to be earning something.
Totally relate to that.
Yeah, so there's constant pressure, but we obviously know each other really, really well, and we can be really honest with each other about the projects that we're working on. So some projects we'll work together on, some we don't, because the client doesn't need that from us. But I will still ask John and I'll say, okay, so what do you think about this? And he'll say, oh, that's great, don't like that, and vice versa. And we know that we can give that feedback to each other.
No hidden agenda there. It's not like, I mean, I've worked in a really great team, but sometimes there can be like politics involved with that, but there's none of that.
There's no
and
politics.
You guys have really got each other's backs,
We have, and we really care about what we're doing as a business and each other.
We talk about the roller coaster of business, don't we? And there are lots of wonderful ups, and there are also some really kind of like sad and upsetting and kind of like downs as well that can really get you there.
Yeah.
So, but I imagine that when you talk about that pressure, and if both of you are on that that down period, that exposure can really sort of like almost like you get a double whammy of it, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
But how do you navigate that together when that happens?
Yeah, I think what's really important is that we both have time to ourselves to do things that we want to do. That is crucial in any partnership, but I think especially for us. So, you know, John loves running, and he's brilliant at it, and I think it's really important that he takes time to go for a run when he wants to go. And if he's really, really busy one day and there are days where we don't even see each other because he's so busy working, and I say you really should just try and find the time and go for a run, because however busy you are, you've got to find an outlet. You've got to just take half an hour out or an hour out. Yeah. So I think the way that we manage that is by making sure that we're both doing things for our own well-being.
What do you like to do in order to get away from work and restore some of that well-being for yourself?
Well, I like to do yoga. I find that's really relaxing, and I also find it helps me if I'm stuck on an idea and I'm really struggling, how do I pitch this? If I do some yoga, I know it sounds like really cheesy, but yoga really helps me just clear my mind. It's time for myself that I need, so I love that.
Headspace, it's massively important because we can't overload our brains. When we do that, it just stops working.
It does.
So you need that time to breathe.
And I've learned that, and that's been a journey. You know, I've had to learn that it's okay. In fact, the times where you feel you're most stressed and you're at your busiest, that's the exact ideal time where you need to just put the brakes on and just do something else for 20 minutes. Even if it's 20 minutes.
But how do you do that?
For me, it's been experience. I know when I start to physically feel a certain way. Right. And also, if I'm getting frustrated.
Yeah. How do you feel physically?
physically, I think I feel like my heart races
Right.
quite a lot. I feel a bit, I can just feel something inside that's sort of welling up.
So your body's talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've learned to listen to that.
What's your relationship like with social media, and how do you control it rather than allowing it to control you?
Yeah. I have love-hate relationship with social media. But Twitter, I love Twitter.
Yeah.
So I tweet a lot. I go through phases.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think social media, I think it's really important. I don't think it's a be-all and end-all. I think you've got to have everything.
Absolutely.
You've got to have a website, you've got to have social media, you've got to get out there and meet people.
Human
Talk
contact.
to people. You've got to do that. You've got to pick the phone up and speak to people. But I think social media is definitely one arm, if you like, of your business that you should take advantage of.
Just before we round up, I was going to say, would you mind giving us, and I know you've given us a couple of tips throughout, but just giving us a quick recap of, say, 3 things viewers should be doing or thinking about when it comes to crafting a social media post?
I think the first thing is think about headlines. So
Everything's a headline.
Everything is a headline. So, you think about a newspaper, it's got a headline, it hooks you in and you want to read more.
Yeah.
So use headlines in your post. If you're writing a longer post, use subheadings, because the way that we read is we scan read. So we'll go to a website or a post and we'll quickly scan through and we'll make a decision very quickly within those 3 to 5 seconds of, do I actually want to read this or not? I think the next thing is, and it's really important, is have a call to action.
Yes.
So what that means is, what do you want people to do?
After having seen the post.
So you've written a post, brilliant.
That was nice.
That was great. And I'm going to scroll to the next thing. But if you want me to actually do something, then tell me.
Yeah.
And tell me again.
Yeah.
Don't assume
that they're
going to read it and
Absolutely.
know. Because people won't. They'll read it and
read
go,
between the lines.
oh, that was nice.
Yeah,
Because we're all busy and we don't think about that.
And it's the speed in which we're engaging with things on social. We're literally just scrolling as fast as we can.
And make it really simple, because I see so many posts when it's like this post, comment on this, do this, and do, and there's too many things. Yeah. And people, it's like, well, which one do you want me to do? Yeah. So that's 2, isn't it?
There's
Headlines,
2.
Call to action. And then I think about the benefits, I guess.
Yeah.
So why should people care?
I love that, yeah.
So what?
Yeah. So what factor, yeah.
Why should I bother? Think about that. One other thing, I'm going to add a sneaky thing in.
Love it. I love a bonus.
Is that know who you're trying to market to. Yeah. Because so many times if I say to clients, okay, so I want it to be read by everybody. Yeah. Right. Well, that's just not going to land. Yeah. Don't try and please everybody, because you just please nobody. It's so true. And I see it so many times with clients who go, this advertising campaign wasn't a success and I spent lots of money and time. Yeah. It's like, okay. And when you drill down, that's why. Yeah. Because they were trying to appeal to every possible conceivable customer they could think of. Yeah. It's like, well, choose one and talk to them. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
That was fantastic. It wasn't too bad, was it? It wasn't painful.
It was all right.
I told you it would be.
Yeah, no, it was lovely. Thank you. It's been really good fun.
It's been ace. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to take heed of what Lou's just said. And if you do like what you've seen today, then I'm going to choose, please leave a comment. That's what I'm going to go for. Leave a comment. Tell us how you felt when you were watching it. Were the tips really helpful? Which one are you going to use, etc. I'm not going to suggest anymore because I'm going to keep it concise. But for now, thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you on the next In Conversation With. See you later. Bye.